guiding us and advising us to be cautious about and wary of. Okay, it is called obsessions or vasanas is what we are going to discuss about today. It is but a logical extension of our expanded desires. We spoke about the concept of concentrated desires and expanded desires, and we are going to build on that concept of expanded desires today. All right, I'm going to recite it and you're welcome to follow, and then we'll get started into the deeper discussion today. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. All right, let's take a few participants and then we'll get started. Okay, Surendraji, I think you were the early one today, so please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, sarve sambharambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice. Thank you so much, Surendraji. Wonderful. All right, who's next? Sandhya.
I'm about to leave for Palanpur. That's Siddhabadi 2 days after.
Okay, Palampur, you're going to go. All right, you're going to my hometown. Very nice.
If any message to be delivered there, let me know.
Sure, I can give you my address. You can go meet my mom and dad as well. So that.
Oh yes, really, if it is there.
Please do text me, and I'll be happy to share my address with you. That's good to know. I can vicariously go to Palampur. So wonderful. Thank you for letting me know. All right, Sandhya, go ahead.
Meenakshi ji, Radhe Radhe.
Okay, I thought, go ahead. Who's Meenakshi ji? Please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnana nidagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Very nice, Meenakshi ji. All
Thank
right.
you.
Dinesh ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita nanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha.
Wonderful. Very, very nice. All right, we can take a few more hands before we get into the discussion and getting into the deeper discussion around this topic. Let's take a few more hands.
Payal ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Payal ji.
Radhe Radhe, Nitin ji, Sandhya ji, and everyone. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Payal ji. Radhe Radhe. All right.
Uday ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. Radhe Radhe.
Nice, Uday ji. Radhe Radhe. Okay, we can take a few more hands. Let's quickly cover and then we'll get started.
Shri Ramya ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. Thank you.
Wonderful, Shri Ramya. Looks like you're applying machine learning to your recitation as well. So you're getting better at it. Very nice.
Venkat ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Venkat ji.
Radhe Radhe Nitin ji, Radhe Radhe Sandhya ji. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha.
Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Riya ji, Radhe Radhe.
We can take 3 more hands and then we'll get started.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Yasya sarve samarambah kama sankalpa varjitah jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamau panditam buddhaha.
Very
Radhe
nice.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe so much. Radhe Radhe. Thank you. Shriya ji. Okay, 2 more hands and then we'll get started.
Pragi ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Pragi.
Radhe Radhe. Yasya sarva samarambha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnana agni dagdha karmanam tama panditam buddha.
Wonderful. Very nice. All right. Last but not the least, Lakshmi ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, Lakshmi ji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe everyone. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjitah jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddha. Thank
Very nice,
you,
Lakshmi
Radhe
ji.
Radhe.
Yeah, I heard your driver playing a conch shell while you were saying,
Yeah.
which was nice. Okay, so let's get started. So short translation for this goes like, the enlightened sages call those persons wise whose every action is free from the desire for material pleasures and who have burned the reactions of work in the fire of divine knowledge. Now we have been focusing on people who are not wise, whose actions are not yet burnt in the knowledge of fire. What do they do? So it's important not only to focus on the do's, but the things that we need to watch out against. So today we are going to focus on another aspect of those things that we need to watch out against before we get into the aspect of the burning of knowledge. What does it actually mean? What truly happens with those people, which has not happened with us as yet? Okay. And yesterday we spoke about the desire, the manifestation of desire as a concentrated desire or an expanded desire. And as part of our concentrated or expanded desire, there are three obsessions or vasanas that we fall into, which is nothing, which is catering to nothing but our body and mind only. It's not catering to our soul. Okay, so let's get into that, and I'm sure we'll be able to relate to it, most of it. So as you can see, there's a genie coming out of this bottle. So our desires are like that, genie coming out of this bottle. And the obsessions that we need to guard against is what we are going to discuss. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story around it. You know, our mind is like a genie. It needs something to work with. So there was a guy who got a genie like this, Aladdin, and it came out and said, give me some work. It gave him some work. Okay, get me puris, get me this, get me that, get me property, whatever he wanted. He got it all that. And they said, give me some work. Otherwise, I'll eat you up because I need to work. So this guy got troubled. So what do I do basically? So he goes to his mentor and asks him, what do I do? This guy is going to eat me up if I don't tell him, because it needs to work with something. So he said, there is a mountain there, very high mountain. Tell the genie to go there and come down. And in the meantime, you can do your work, whatever you want to do, take a break. Once it comes back, again, tell it to go there and come down. Okay, so that is how it kept the genie working or occupied or busy. Similarly, in Bhagavatam, there is a description of Lord Krishna from the tip of his feather, peacock feather, all the way down to the tip of his nail. So they say that in order to engage your mind, which is more like that genie, you go up and down, down and up, that root dhyan that you can do. Okay, that will actually help tame it and purify it as well. Anyways, that is not the intent of today's story. Today's story is our mind. Our desires are like this genie. They keep on expanding, right? It says, okay, give me next thing. Give me the next thing now. So we are going to talk about these obsessions that we fall into. So there are 3 obsessions or vasanas that our scripture tell us to guard against. Okay. Before you realize it, you would have been already fallen trap to that. So let's get started with the first one. First one is called Lok Vasna. Okay. Now what is this Lok Vasna? it can manifest in so many ways, you know, just having an unlimited, unbridled, excessive exposure to the world. We keep on adding network, keep on increasing our network for the sake of doing that. Our scriptures tell us that limit your exposure to the world as much as truly needed. Don't keep on creating hooks in your life which are really not beneficial. So that is one part of it. Other is obviously getting attached to agendas in life, right? Save this, save that. Okay, it is needed, but then we make it an agenda of our life where we worry too much about the world and worldly affairs, right? Pick up an agenda that save this and do that. So many causes that we get, or start getting worried about the state of affairs in the world. People who watch BBC, they are worried, you know, the world is going to come to an end. People become paranoid. There are conspiracy theories. All these is called where you start harboring or renting world in your mind for the, you know, for no benefit whatsoever. That is called Lok Vasna. Or, you know, the gossiping part of it, where we think, okay, what is happening in neighbor's house and what is the latest spicy news that I can lay my mind and hands on. All that is called Lok Vasna, where your mind is simply deriving some kind of a pleasure from hearing about things or contemplating about things which truly don't add any value. Thinking about the world, journey around it, right? What is going on with the relatives? Okay, by the way, let's check out what this person is doing. Let's go to the friend's friend. Like one of my friends, he has a habit of checking all the profiles. It's friends. So he spends about 3-4 hours just doing that. Does it add any value? It doesn't. It is called Lok Vasna, where you have some kind of a compelling desire or an obsession to check out on the world, check out on the news, just talk about people around without any benefit whatsoever. And same thing goes for making things as an agenda of your life, which don't truly, I mean, that is fine. It's good to add agendas to life, but if we make that as a focal point of our life, then it is spiritually not very rewarding. It is not adding much value. So it's a tightrope that we need to walk very cautiously, because there are odds of getting hooked into it to no avail, for no benefit whatsoever. So that is the first one, is Lok Vasna. Am I giving myself exposure to the world or thinking, contemplating about things related to the world, stock market, news, whatever the case may be, which is truly not needed, I can do away with. One of the litmus tests around these vasanas is if for some reason we get to know we have only 3 days or a week left, like in case of Parikshit, would you still worry about the last message that came to you, or to check out on that news or on that particular thing that you have made a focal point of your life? If the answer is no, that means it's just Lok Vasna you've added for the sake of your entertainment that our mind seeks. So that's the first one. The next one is, what is this one? The Deh Vasna. Now this is an interesting one. We all fall for that, and which is fine. Like in US, they say the packaging matters. The wine and the chocolates they sell because of packaging only. In fact, if you are presentable, your odds of success at your job also increase many folds. In fact, statistically, it is proven it happens. So it's important to be presentable. It is important to look, present our best version to the world. Very important. Even when Lord Krishna used to go out in Braj, he will not go out in his night clothes. Okay. Mother Yashoda will nicely put a peacock feather on his head and very nicely tucked flute. So he will present the best version to the world. So it's important to do that. Very important to do that. However, if we start obsessing about it and make it a focal point of our life, right, and get depressed, like it happened with Marilyn Monroe, the first wrinkle you see and then you are done in life, then it becomes a problem, right? There are so many young suicides that happen because the vanity takes center stage in their life, and when those comparisons start and those kind of things start, then it's not very healthy for their emotional growth, for their spiritual growth. In fact, I was reading there's a direct correlation between the social media revolution, this generation, the Facebook, Instagram, and all those things that have come up, and the teenage depression and suicide rate. Why is it happening? Because people, they become obsessed by their vanity, the looks, and the things, when those comparisons start coming up, right? These apps are now cashing onto that to give you tools where you don't even have to do, all those techniques, I think, to look good, and those kind of things are coming up. But when our mind starts getting too deep into it, that is what our scriptures are telling us. We need to watch against it. A lot of people, they make just taking care of their body the focal point of their life. They'll do yoga to an extent that the only aim is to keep fit, okay, which is great. But if you don't dovetail it, why do I need to keep fit? So that, I can serve, or I can prolong my life, where I can give myself a better shot at perfecting my devotion or whatever. Then if it is not dovetailed to that, and it's only limited to living a longer life, fulfilling life, where I can see my grandkids and the grandkids of my grandkids getting married and all that stuff, then obviously it is a Vasna which is misdirected, right? And I think what is next? Obviously, this is an extreme case. Hopefully that is not the case, right? Where people want to. So this is the second Vasna, which our scriptures say we got to be careful about. The third one is called, yes, Lakshmi ji, you had a question?
Yeah, Lakshmi ji, Radhe Radhe.
Oh, sorry. Radhe Radhe. The second one, the Vasna is only the.
Sorry, did you lose you?
Yeah, Lakshmi ji.
Hello.
Yes, Lakshmi ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, it is only the bodily presentation to the world, or it's our attitude towards the people in the world.
It's basically making, the body as a center stage, where thinking, being too obsessed about how we look, how we project ourselves in front of people,
okay,
or taking care of your body.
Okay.
That is called Devasana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
In fact, the focus becomes looking good as opposed to becoming good. Maharaj says, explains it very nicely, like in this world, our endeavor, our efforts are always focused around how can we look good, not just in terms of physical appearance, but also in terms of how do people perceive us. There's a lot of emphasis on looking good in front of people. He said that you need to put more focus on becoming good. So we focus more on adorning ourselves from the outside. Spirituality says start adorning yourself from the inside. I think Vivekananda, when he was asked when he came to Chicago Summit that, you are such a big scholar, why do you, roam around with this kind of clothes? And he said, in your country, a gentleman is gauged by the exterior, what they wear, the suit and boot kind of a thing. And in our country, a gentleman is actually judged by the adornments they carry within themselves, the virtues and stuff like that. Very classic response around it. So spirituality tells us, rather than focusing on looking good, focus on truly becoming good. That is a very important concept. And the last but not the least is, it is a pretty interesting one, is called, we need to really guard against it. Okay, it is called Shastra Vasna. Okay, where you want to lay your hand on anything and everything you can come across. Okay, got to be careful about it. I used to be a voracious reader as well, but over time, with God and Guru's grace, I'm trying to be selective around it, what I need to feed my mind, eyes, ears, and all that stuff. But this could be a trap as well, where you start laying your hands on anything and everything you can possibly lay your hands on. Now, once the things start clicking, just start digging the well. Okay, your odds of finding water will be much higher. Plus, it's important to go to knowledge that is actually uplifting for the soul. So Shastra Vasana is something, okay, I need to grab knowledge. FOMO, there is a FOMO, fear of missing out. People, they keep on taking notes and laying every book, every video recording, everything basically out there in the universe, they need it. Okay, that becomes a mindset. So beyond a point, in fact, Maharaj's lecture, he also explains that it actually can become a kusang in your mind as well. Because you are subscribing to so many theories, so many ideologies, so many. If you have picked up a nugget and it has made sense, just continue. Don't fix it unless it is broken. But if you start subscribing to tons and tons of theories around you, you will become a mental wreck. That is how confounding, confusing our scriptures could be, right? And then if you have laid your hand on a book or something which has started clicking and it is becoming logically, rationally evident, enlightened in your head, just continue on that. That is the first step. And within no time, there will come a day that all of your doubts will get resolved. Now it's only a matter of putting it to practice and starting reaping benefits from the knowledge, scriptural knowledge that we have. Because there is a good probability if you start subscribing to too many opinions, too many books, too many things, it will continue to be a wild goose chase, a little bit of digging here, a little bit of there, a little bit of there, and then you will never hit the water basically. And it will cause more confusion, more and more and more confusion. So ananyata, experimentation, shopping around, hopping around is good to begin with. But beyond a point, it's important to settle down. And that can also happen when we have that craving and we really seek blessings from God. Right? He will lead you to something that he will solidify that faith, and that ananyata will start coming in, that you start understanding the principles, and they will just start clicking to you. But then this is also we need to guard against, where absorbing knowledge from all the quarters and reading tons and tons of stuff really doesn't add. In fact, one of the good advice, even the people who are most successful, they gave us to read a book, more books, like Bill Gates and all the people who are visionaries, they read a lot of stuff. But then we got to be selective about what we are feeding our mind. If you start subscribing to tons of theories and stuff like that, it's not really going to help. So this is called Shastra Vasna in our scriptures. And scriptures is something that has to be understood under the expert guidance of a saint or his teachings only. It's not a matter of swadhyay, self-study, as people would like to say. You may come across people who will say, I am my own guru. That is just not a good concept to have. If that was the case, we would have liberated ourselves to begin with. It's not possible. It has to be done under even for a mundane subject like physics or chemistry or English or anything, we have to approach an expert or a master. Scriptures are something which are divine, which are sentient, we cannot understand on our own. So for that, we need an expert guidance of a guru. And even otherwise, if we are hung up on getting a lot of knowledge, we need to be very selective about it rather than getting lost in a wild, wild west. So it's a quick self-check to see if we are indulging in Shastra Vasna or not. So these are the three Vasanas, or the obsessions that can, our expanded selfishness can lead us to, the concept that we were discussing about yesterday. Now let's move further. Let's talk about actions that are motivated by the desire for sensual and mental enjoyment. They bind the soul in karmic reactions. Now, all the actions that we're talking about, yes, Samji?
Radhe,
Nitinji, how does the Shastravana lead to extended selfishness? I didn't understand that.
It is extended. So you are trying to cater to your mind and your body only, right? It just gives you some kind of a thrill, or some kind of a FOMO that your mind, right? So could be concentrated, right? Could be expanded as well, where you like to have an intellectual thing with people as well. So concentrated, yeah, you can call it concentrated as well. I'll not get too hung up into that.
Okay.
Yeah, you could call it concentrated, where you are doing it for yourself, or expanded, where you may be going after fame or an influence over a group, right? Where you think talking stuff and gaining knowledge gives you an edge. So that might be the case as well. All right. Now, the binding action, we have spoken about it. Now, in contrast, when the soul is illumined with divine knowledge, when you truly start getting divine knowledge and you start realizing the trace of that bliss, this is a natural consequence of that. When you start subscribing to a concept which is pure, which is the food for your soul, when the soul gets its food, the bliss is a natural outcome of it. It will say, yeah, I got something which I was seeking for. That is what happens. And as a result, what happens further is, and if you look at it, there are really two options here, right, for our mind. One is you cater to things that are appealing to your senses, or you attach it to God. As you start gaining an understanding, you get that understanding from knowledge that catering to your senses, this bliss that you've been seeking will not be attained from the objects of the senses. Okay? That is what we have been talking about. So the knowledge or the illumination that we are talking about, or the enlightenment we are talking about, this realization dawns that in loving service to God, and when we perform actions for the service of God, that is when we take steps towards the enlightenment or the bliss that we are always seeking. So, and then there are no karmic reactions around it. We have spoken about this concept in great detail in Karma Yoga as well, right? And then when you start dovetailing your action, you truly understand that concept. It is said to be burnt in the fire of divine knowledge. What is burnt in the fire of divine knowledge? Let's look at it a little deeper. Obviously, your karmic reactions are burnt because you're not acquiring any more karmic reactions, but there is something else that happens as well. Let's look at that. So, I'll pick up on that. So this concept in this shloka has been termed as Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam. It means the knowledge is purified. It's not a tainted knowledge. The three colors of Maya are not tainting this knowledge anymore. And the true knowledge is kindled in the heart. This leads to purification of desires. So we are not talking in devotion. We don't talk about killing the desires. It's you continue to have desire, but you purify it. And when you purify the desires, then there are no sins, no faults, no mistakes whatsoever. Because those are done with the purified desires will lead you to no sin and no bondage or the karmic reaction around it as well. And the four potencies that we spoke about yesterday, which are needed for us to fulfill any desire, right? We need, in order to fulfill any desire, we need these four potencies: Ichha Shakti, Gyan Shakti, Bal Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. Then we are given proper inputs in every aspect, because now we are actually aligning to God's will. Then the proper inputs come in every aspect. Your Ichha Shakti would be your power of desire, would be to align to God's will. The Jnana Shakti would lead you to being selective about what you are feeding your mind. The Bal Shakti, the entire potency of strength, physical, mental, you'll exert towards a direction which is truly beneficial. And obviously your act will support that as well. So it all starts from the pure knowledge, the action which are performed in pure knowledge. That will lead to purification of desire. So basically, this purification of desire is actually called the concept of sublimation of desire as well. Now, if you look at sublimation, it is essentially a concept from chemistry where the solid thing directly translates into vapor, right, without going through the liquid state. So in this case, if you look at it, this is our antakaran. If you look at it, it is impure. It's like an old, dirty, soiled cloth. When you start washing it with divine knowledge, proper knowledge, something interesting happens. As you progress with that, this impurity starts giving way to purity. So impurity starts reducing and purity starts increasing until it eventually leads to a completely pure antakaran. That means the vessel for you for that knowledge has been prepared. The vessel for you to receive that divine grace from God, from transitioning from preparatory stage, which is called sadhan bhakti, into the bhav bhakti, where God starts giving you, once your vessel is created, like cleaning up the vessel is completed. Now the pouring of grace into that vessel begins. That stage gets completed when our mind or our vessel is prepared. And basically this is a journey where you go from tamas to rajas to sattva, and then to shuddha sattva, which is the divine energy of God, which is called gunatit. It is the divine energy of God. So this is what will happen. And the wise sages who are enlightened have reached this stage, and that is why their actions are not motivated by any desire, and that is why their actions are not binding, unlike the action that we perform, which are binding, which are tainted, and which are motivated by our desires for our personal gain. It could be a concentrated desire, it could be an expanded desire, it could be anything, but they are motivated by a desire, not a higher desire. We have not sublimated our desire. They are low desires, and that is why they continue to be tainting actions. They continue to be actions which keep us binding and binding karma and make us repeat in this world. So if we quickly go back to the shloka now, okay, just a quick recap, just to see what the shloka was talking about. We really went into detail about the concept of what unwise people, or until they have reached the stage of enlightenment, do. Why they are stuck in material pleasures, and how do the people who have burnt the reactions of their work in the fire of divine knowledge are different from them. Okay, so when they operate, they are not motivated by any desire. It is the only desire those people have is for the welfare of human beings and nothing else, right? Like God and Guru, when they say even the saints come, they also operate like all of us do, but their actions and our actions are different in the way that while we are motivated for our self-gain, for our personal enjoyment, they are motivated only for the welfare of people, or to grace them so that they can get out of this conditioned state that they are in. Right. So the key here is, with divine knowledge comes the purity of antakaran. So when you truly get divine knowledge, you would experience that when the clarity of thought starts coming in, and when you start imbibing those principles in your day-to-day life, the purification of heart, which is also called antakaran shuddhi, is a byproduct of it. You will start experiencing that. And how would you experience that? The peace quotient within you will start increasing. The clarity of thought will start increasing. The bliss or the lack of restlessness, you would start getting better at it. They're all the symptoms that your antakaran is actually following the right trajectory. However, if it is following the other trajectory, then something in the equation is missing at this point. So the divine knowledge, this knowledge is so powerful that when we start subscribing to this knowledge, just listen to it with faith and contemplate upon it. It will start leaving its imprints. Okay, that is how powerful this knowledge is. You pick up one nugget, one concept, start contemplating on it and see how best you can utilize it in life. That one particular piece of knowledge from Bhagavad Gita can transform your entire life. You don't have to do 100 different things. That is how powerful this knowledge is, divine knowledge is. And you pick up one principles, the other virtues, the higher energies or the higher virtues or the noble virtues or the Devic gunas, they follow you as well. You start getting better at each one of those. And the negative energies, they start diminishing. Their intensity will start diminishing. That anger, anxiety, hatred, bitterness, envy, over a period of time, they'll start reducing. It's not that you'll wake up as a saint one day. It's a journey, of course, but you will start getting better at it. All right, with that, I'll open it up for any questions that you may have. We covered a lot, I know, today, but I wanted to move on to the next shloka tomorrow. So I thought let's cover it and have a discussion on it. If you have any questions on what we have discussed or any thoughts on the discussion that we're having. Pin drop silence. Somebody's going to raise hand and then everybody's going to follow. So let's see who raises the hand first. No questions today?
So I have one question. Is there a hierarchy among these three, like Lok Vasna, and Vasna, and Shastra Vasna? And one is better than the other or something?
Not that I'm aware of. It's just that some of the pitfalls along this path is what our scriptures are telling us. So we got to be just a bit cautious about it. Not bit, got to be careful. We need to optimize and streamline our lives. Right? If we get too obsessed with the world, we need to check, is it really needed for me to be worrying about? Like I said, the litmus test or the simple thumb rule for that to test it out is, if I have, let's say, 2 or 3 days left in my life and God doesn't tell us, okay, that is another problem that we have with our material lives. If we know for a fact how many things will cut off in our life, would you really care about so many other things that we worry about in our world, right? Worldly affairs and other things. So Yeah, I mean, these could really derail our spiritual journey, because what we are doing here is that time which could have been productively utilized, we are utilizing in things which are adding absolutely no value to our life. Can we dovetail it? Possibly, some of those things. That is a personal strategy we need to have. How can we dovetail some of this stuff around, doing seva to God, right? Like, for example, social media, it is a double-edged sword. And Swamiji, when I look at him, he's pretty much on all the social media, including LinkedIn, right? Swamiji was saying, even if you go to Patal Lok or Mars, we will go there as well. So when saints come, they will follow you, because they have to put their message out, right? So yes, if you can actually do it with that sense, yes, we are actually utilizing everything. So everything Maya in Raganuga Bhakti, you don't reject mic energy. It is an energy of God only. You simply utilize it for the service of God. Right? There are a lot of philosophies that say, okay, shun Maya, stay away from Maya, reject Maya. Raganuga Bhakti, you don't reject Maya. You simply utilize it for the purpose and for the service of God, because it's his energy only. That's how you look at it.
Okay, and there is one question by Shri Ramya ji. Is attachment same as obsession? If not, then is this also another vasana?
True, attachment anyway, Raga Dvesha, scriptures are telling is not good. That, and how many attachments do you need in life to repeat in this world? One. And we always find that one. We actually find more than one, okay? 2 or 3 in our lives, right? Usually our parents, kids, spouse, or somebody nearby. Those 4 people, 4 log, right? Like they say, we keep on finding in every life. And then people say, you know what? I have pretty much sorted out or conquered everyone. I'm completely at peace with myself. Just one person, is my weak point. How many do you need really? Do you need more than one? No, right? God says need to crack that. So if you're finding that one person in every life, that is all is needed. You don't need to find 10, right? God is not making a concession there. So yes, attachment is also it can become an obsession, I would say, because if you're deeply attached to somebody positively or negatively, in both the cases, you are giving your mind or renting your mind for free for them, right? And it can become a cause of our bondage again in the upcoming life. Right? Panchadashi Vedvyasa has written Manev Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayo. So your mind is attached to somebody, will make you repeat it. And God forbid, if they go to some other yoni or species, then you'll have to follow them there as well, right? Last thing we want to become is a bacteria or a virus, right? So, got to be careful about it. Yes.
Yeah, Surendraji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Sandhya, thank you. Nitinji, I somehow missed the chemistry part of it, sublimation of that, missing out the liquid state.
Okay. Sure.
I missed out.
I'll tell you some organic, inorganic chemistry. We may have some here who can tell better than I do. So sublimation.
Sublimation.
You skip a state there, right? So basically sublimation of desire means you simply channelize or dovetail your desires towards God. You don't finish off your desire, or you simply purify your desire by basically dovetailing towards God himself. So that is what is called sublimation of desire. For example, you may be wanted to take care of your body. How can you sublimate it? All right, I need to take care of my body so that I don't fall sick, so that I can spend more time in the service of God. I can sit with a good posture during my meditation. Okay. And if I have to worry about my body in my old age, then where will I do meditation and sadhana? So if those are your motives, you have already sublimated your desire, taking care of your body. All those things can be sublimated. I need to earn well. I want to earn more so that I can give more. Okay, because I want to do more seva to God. That is why I want to do well in life. So every desire can be sublimated. If I'm cooking, I need to cook well, because if Lord Krishna comes and eats my meal, right, he better be impressed. So people have their own ways of actually sublimating their desire, and everything in material realm can actually be sublimated. You can be as creative as you want. Hopefully that answered your question, Surendraji.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think earlier Shyamji and Shefali had also raised hand. Now it's down.
Shefali, you're not allowed to lower your hand, okay? So, and Shyamji, you too. So please raise your hand, ask the question, and then in the meantime, let's go to
Pallavi ji, Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Radhe Radhe Nitin ji, Radhe Radhe everyone. Excellent class. Really very, very important concepts you discussed, Nitin ji. So my takeaway from Lok Vasna is something that many times we are talking about XYZ people. Always that, okay, someone said something, someone did something. So if we stop doing that also, like, per ninda or per charcha, that is also kind of something that we can guard against, right?
Yes, very true. Parninda and Pardosh in Radha Govind Geet, which Swamiji is going to take a lecture, Gopi Geet is going to take. It says in Radha Govind Geet, beautiful. If you simply listen to Radha Govind Geet in JKO radio, contemplate on those lines, right? It's a philosophy on how one should lead their life. So one of the lines in that is, Parninda karu nahi, Govind Radhe, Pardosh dekhu nahi, aisa bana de. So you are praying to God that I should not do Parninda. And then you're praying to make me such that I don't see faults in others. Right?
Yeah.
Beautiful philosophy.
So, beautiful, yeah. So we can guard against not even talking about others, refraining talking about others. And the second thing I might take away from Devachna is, like, people obsess about too much on buying new clothes. If they are buying too costly clothes, too much they are spending on buying way too costly stuff for themselves, or too much obsessing on the food, catering to the taste and all that. So, or spending too much in luxurious lifestyle, which is only satisfying to bodily needs. So that is we should try to guard against.
True. Patanjali Yoga Sutra says, be simple and be minimalist. Okay. Now, in today's world, obviously, the bar is different for us. But yeah, I mean, one philosophy could be when you buy something, clear up something else as well, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Vivekananda. So, sorry, go ahead.
Or clear up something first, then buy something.
True.
Yeah. And my takeaway from Shastra Vachna is, like, when I saw the photograph that you put over there, that image, it was very interesting. That people are discussing about, it seems like saving tree, but they're sitting on the tree trunks, which is tree is cut. So basically, it's like it's reading too much book, but implementing nothing, kind of.
Yeah, that was ironical. So I put it in there. I found it pretty.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting image. Thanks for putting that, Nitinji. So it is like, kind of pseudo knowledge. You're trying to read too much, implementing nothing, basically. True. And everything remains at the surface.
Yep.
So, yeah, we need to guard against that. So whatever we read, we must try to implement. Yep. Otherwise, it's nothing, actually.
Einstein had said that realized knowledge is experience, rest is mere information. So if you keep on collecting it, it's just information unless you've actually imbibed it and actually.
Yeah, it's like ज्ञान को विज्ञान बनाने की जरूरत है. Right.
Very true. Yeah. And Vivekananda had said that somebody asked him what is poison, and he gave a very interesting definition, a pretty profound definition. He said anything over and above or in excess of what you truly need is poison.
Yes.
Think about
very
it.
Nice.
How much minerals we need to get in life? What do we truly need? Right. But because he was at a saintly stature, actually. But yeah, that is how we.
Yeah. Excess of anything. But people can't gauge that. They can't judge. They are not have good judgment to judge that excess. What is excess? Right. That is where we fail. Yeah.
And our mind has a tendency to get attracted towards worldly things. It is very natural for it to do that, right? For example, if you tell somebody, hey, you know what, that neighbor's son, yeah, tell me what happened. He started Swamiji's satsang. come on, what kind of a news was that? I thought he had eloped with a girl or something like that. So
Yeah.
we get so excited about hearing things about people and stuff like that. That is a habit that needs to be curbed mindfully and with proper knowledge. We have to fight with our mind. Actually, sadhana is essentially fighting a battle with your mind. That is what sadhana is. Mind is like that friend, right? Enemy, actually. It's truly an enemy that needs to be tamed and needs to be befriended. Mind will never tell you things that are truly beneficial for you. It will always make you lazy, give you reasons, excuses, right? And that is the whole, the process of sadhana is fighting with your mind. Jujna, you have to be tenacious with your mind until it starts coming under control. That's what Maharaj Ji says. Well. So
Beautiful.
battle is with mind only, our mind only. So it's the biggest enemy is residing within us. When we start making it our friend, that is essentially what sadhana is. It will give you enough reasons not to do this, not to do that, and all that stuff. So, great. Okay.
There are a couple of comments. Can I take them first?
Please.
First of all, Asha ji says, awesome session. As usual, Nitin ji and everyone, thanks. Rahul ji has also given a comment. We can buy the best makeup, but it has to be applied on the face or body to see its magic. Same is true for Tattva Gyan.
Beautiful. So Asha ji, dhanyavad dene ke liye dhanyavad. Thank you. Thanks for thanking. So
and
fill out attendance tracker as well. Those of you who have been filling, thank you for that. I'd usually read that and I look forward to it in the sense that is there anything that can be done differently, or if you ask questions, I will put those and maybe do a quick recap before the session on any of the questions that which are unanswered or you may didn't get an opportunity to ask in these sessions. So do take an opportunity, fill out the attendance tracker, and you know, usually I go through that, and it's a good thing that I go through. It gives me a kind of a sense how the sessions are going and if I need to change something. Yes. Who's next? Any other comments?
Yeah, there are. So there is one request from Shri Ramya ji that if we could summarize the last 3 classes to get the overall context of the shloka.
Okay, did I confuse you enough? Okay. So yeah, I can do that. So basically the summary of this shloka is that people who have actually burnt their desires, or they have actually purified their desires, we should say the purified desires in the fire of knowledge, they do not accrue any binding karmas. Okay. Other than that, we spoke about people who have not burnt those as yet in the fire of knowledge. What are the manifestations of those? And we started talking about the concept of, the desires. How do they manifest? They manifest in form of your selfishness, the concentrated selfishness, the expanded selfishness, and all those concepts, right? And then the 4 potencies that we have, right? Ichha Shakti, Bal Shakti, Gyan Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. They are also not feeded properly. They are all potencies. They start working towards fulfilling the desires which are actually catering to your body or your mind. However, leaving out the soul part of it. So the sublimation of desire is to actually utilize those desires so that you can change the direction from serving your body and mind towards serving your soul. And that can only happen when you have, taken those desires through the process of divine knowledge. You understand it, and then only you can sublimate those. Otherwise, how will you do that? If you don't understand the bigger principles about life, the bigger principles about we being the eternal servant of God, the bigger principle about it's only in giving and serving that you shall receive, how will you sublimate it? So that knowledge has to be solidified. And that is essentially the fire of knowledge, that Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam is what is being brought about in this shloka by Lord Krishna. So in Jnanagni, we have to burn our karmas so that they are non-binding. And that can only happen when our actions are not motivated by selfish desires. Just to sum it up, our actions, when they are not motivated by selfish desires, then our karmas are not binding. And that can only happen when you have a proper knowledge activated in your intellect. Hopefully that helped.
Yeah, she said thank you. And just last comment, Smitaji says Lok Vasna is earning popularity among people to be in the limelight always.
Yes, that is also part of Lok Vasna. In fact, people like Jim Morrison, so many people who became famous in a very young age, right? Even they had not even touched 30, they were like 27-year-old, like in Nirvana guy, Jim Morrison and all. They ended their life. Why? Because they thought there is no kick or thrill in life after that high that they had experienced from people around. They reached the pinnacle of fame pretty early on in life, and after that they thought it's difficult to go beyond that. They can only come down from here, and that was very disturbing for them, and they ended their life. That those are the things that can happen as well. And how would they go in front of people? That kick, they cannot go anything lower than that high. So what this guy would do, he would take an LSD, knock himself off for 3 days, wake up, perform, again take an LSD. That is how his life was. And then he ended up his life. It is Lok Vasna, and it can have drastic consequences as well. We have seen with quite a few Bollywood stars as well, people who actually take that fame to their head. They're not able to grapple with it once that fame starts diminishing away with age. And then they become depressed. Like I was reading Rajesh Khanna, people used to scream in front of his home on his birthday. Were they screaming for the person that Rajesh Khanna was? No, they were screaming for the fame and the stature that he had acquired. So one day on his birthday, when he was old, there was absolutely nothing, and he was found crying on his balcony. There used to be time when people would just scramble over each other to get a view of him, and now nobody's there. So then you don't understand that Lok aspect of it, that it is all temporary. They are actually saluting your position, not you, and it is all temporary. So Lok Vasna can have drastic effects if you don't understand it in perspective. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah. Should we take the hands? I mean, the raised hands now. Sure.
I wanted to do quick announcements, and then while we have people on, tomorrow we move on to the next shloka. It's a very interesting shloka, beautiful story from gopis. So we're going to touch upon, and again, a very interesting concept that we're going to introduce. Yes, let's do the quick announcements, and then we'll take the remaining hands as well.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of announcements, we have the International Yoga Festival coming up from June 15th to 21st, which have many prominent speakers and keynote lectures by Swamiji. I think full of activities, both online and offline. So the link to that is posted. As well as we have the family camp coming from June 24th to June 30th. Which is again, I guess, once in a lifetime opportunity that no one would want to miss. So whoever hasn't registered, please make use of that opportunity. I think there was another little announcement about Seva opportunity. So this online Seva opportunity, which is very easy, basically like, share and comment. So I'll share the link for a WhatsApp group where you can join, and then there'll be links of recent announcements, and you can just go to your social media account and like, share and comment on them, which is a seva that can really help. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Sandhya. Yeah, this seva is very, very important. It may seem, insignificant investment of time, but it can go a long way in reaching out to somebody who can benefit from it. All of us would have come to these sessions through some link. And also our video team, they put in a lot of hard work. If you look at some of the qualities of their videos, it is pretty amazing. And amount of hard work that goes in is unbelievable. So it's a small seva. And this time, I know we've had this seva in the past as well with different groups, but this time it is with a difference because it will be very prescriptive. You'll be given exactly, okay, this is the video, do that, and you're done. So those 5 minutes can actually have a huge impact. So if the link that Sandhya shared, if you join that, and you can help out in that seva, it will be really, really helpful. All right, now let's take the remaining questions. I can see a couple of hands raised, so let's go with that.
Yeah, Shyamji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Shyamji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. I would like to thank Sandhya first because today I could not do the co-hosting. Sandhya, thank you so much for taking over my part. And secondly, as Pallavi said that Partinda Pardosh, as last evening I mentioned about my case. So I think that's a good way for me to keep track of myself by listening to that song from Maharajji. And I will try and look out for it.
So
And then
JK radio is there. If you don't have it, get it on your mobiles, and you can simply tune into it. It's a nice way to immerse yourself in divine knowledge, kirtans, and all that stuff. Okay? And Radha Govind Geet that comes, it actually is a philosophy. It's a very deep philosophy. Just when you start your day listening to that, it can have impact. So check it out. Yes, please. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Please go ahead, Shyam.
I'm sure. Thank you so much. On a lighter note, like Vasna, Vasna, Shastru Vasna, we need to have expiry date with us, because until we have expiry date, we will not come out of all these three things, because we all think that we are infinite, we live for a number of years, tomorrow is my day, or otherwise, I guess we all live in the same boat. I can say for myself, because that's how I live, because I know I will not die, and let me live most of it. And once I'm not there, then I might think that, yeah, it's okay, the time has come, so I've got 3 days or 3 months, 3 years. Let me live my entire life to God. Let me just give it to Him and just think that all those things which are there are not there, actually. I was living a sham life, a mithya life, or a myth I was living in, on a lighter note. And then that's it, I guess. And for regarding family camp, as I was trying to come there to meet Nitin Bhai during that period, but I could not do that. So I have joined online I registered online for the family camp. I hope so that I can be there with all of people who will be there personally, and I think I can make myself there virtually. That's it. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you so much, Shyamji, for doing that. I would strongly encourage all of you to sign up for it. It's I think offered at a very nominal price. Do sign up for that. I would encourage all of you to do that if you can. At least majority, who attend sessions here, you will really benefit from Swamiji's courses. In person, obviously, but online, the lectures and other things, you can really relish those. So thank you, Shyamji, and for endorsing that and for signing up yourselves. And
one more thing, that Seva Bhav, because I just can watch for myself, because I'm here because of Seva only, because somebody might have posted a link on the Facebook or Instagram, and that's how I came to know about it. And since then, I told earlier also, and since I'm here since then. So I guess Seva Bhav is one thing we should all take up. And trust you me, because Amrita Maiji put me in this co-hosting group. I was not there initially. She only pushed me there. And it is a privilege to be in this group, because I can raise my hand. I can say whenever, because I wait for this day, because that's my day. I don't have to wait for anybody. I just admit myself and say whatever, without taking any turns out there. So just want to encourage all of you, please take a step forward and register yourself for any seva you can do. It will really help you, help us, and help all, I'm sure. Radhe Radhe.
So whether your audio...
I hope I was clear.
Yes. Whether your audio cooperates or not, your spirit is always cooperating. So that's a good thing. Okay, I can see 3 minutes. So let's quickly take Swatiji, Shyamji, and Kumarji.
Yeah, thank you, Shyamji. Swatiji, Radhe Radhe.
Swatiji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Just now someone spoke about this, how much we should need. Something point was there. So I just want to add one point to that. Whatever is needed and whatever we desire, there is difference between the need and want. कितनी जरूरत है उससे भी ज्यादा हम लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं. Our body needs only to clothes के 2 जोड़ी enough है. More than that is like what you said, it's like a poison. Extra कुछ भी है unwanted. So necessary जितना है उतना ही यहाँ से लेना है. From this world, whatever is needed, only that much you take. And want, if you give, then it is a desire, and it will lead us to like Vasna and all that. Like I want more, collecting, keep on, then that greed will come. So basically, जैसे उन्होंने महाराज जी ने भी बोला कि उतना ही रखो, 2 जोड़ी कपड़ा, इतना ही खाना, इतना ही मनी कलेक्ट करके रखो, ज्यादा के पीछे मत भागो. So whatever is need, जितना जरूरत है बॉडी के लिए उतना ही कलेक्ट करो, not more than that. Thank you.
Very true. Even Mahatma Gandhi had said that it's not the need of the humans, it's the greed of the humans that is problematic. This planet can actually feed 10 times more population, but we are running out of fertile land already, right, because of various reasons. Great point. We are not able to differentiate or draw a line between need and greed, and that is where things can, start getting a little murkier. Yes, Samji.
Yeah, Samji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Nitinji, when we are doing service to Guru, and if we are unable to do the service properly or unable to complete it, then we feel dejected, right? I mean, Gurus may not feel dejected. Or, I mean, how does it affect us? Is it okay to go through anxiety, or, I mean, will it help in our spiritual progress?
No, see.
I mean, failing to do service.
Failing to do service, that's an interesting one. So you put in your best. That has to be there, of course, right? First of all, seva is not a hobby on the side. That's the first thing. Okay, it took me a while to understand that. It's a commitment. And then when you do that, obviously, not always you'll be able to do that, but it is a good bhav to have that, I could have done more. But you don't make it so hyped up in your head that it paralyzes you and affects even, your performance at all. You have to look at it that way. You have to put in your best, and if you're satisfied, obviously there will be times it may not work out the best as you thought it would. So that's dissatisfaction. Bhakt always is dissatisfied. They never think I have done enough bhakti, I've done enough devotion, I've done enough seva. They're always dissatisfied, and it is a good dissatisfaction. But that dissatisfaction has to be looked at in perspective that you want to do more, not that you become depressed about it. Right? End of the day, we are all work in progress. We do our best. As long as you are trying your best, I think Guru is also happy, and you also need to cut yourself a bit of a slack there, as opposed to getting disturbed about it. That's a way to progress. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Kumarji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, everyone. I have to see which is the app for GK Yog Radio.
Go to App Store, Yog Radio, you check it out, you'll get it.
Yeah, I'm right now there. There are two of them. One is JK Yog Quotes and then JK Yog Divine Love and dash dot dot dot. Is that the one?
Android or is it JK Yog Radio?
It's the iPhone.
Okay, maybe I can check it out and send you the screenshot, Kumarji, if you can text me, because you should.
Okay.
JK Yog Radio app is pretty wide.
Yeah, I used JK Yog Radio, and then it didn't give me. It said AMP Host Live Radio. I don't know what it is.
Okay. I can show you. I mean, if that helps.
Yeah, that would be great.
So, are you able to see this? Maybe not. It's a yellow color JK Yog app.
Would you be able to screenshot and send it to me?
Yeah, if you can just text.
Yeah, I'll text. Yeah, thank you. Radhe Radhe.
I mean, Ankurji has also requested for this, so if we can send on the group itself, it will be nice.
Okay. Yeah, what I will do is let me figure out a way and maybe a screenshot on the group itself, CIC group, if that helps.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Good way to have a routine, some kirtan, some lecture, something good is going on always. And morning times, that Radha Govind Giri, it's very nice. You start your day with that, you feel good about it. So
yeah, especially Nitinji, just wanted to say that, every morning is different, like I get up and then some days I'm kind of enthusiastic. Many of the days I'm not. And so I have to really force myself up, and, I have to really put in a very concerted effort to remember God and saying, okay, you know what, I'm doing His bidding. So just get up and do stuff, right? Otherwise, it's not. Sometimes I don't feel like doing stuff at all. And I think such programs probably will really help in kind of pushing us towards the right thing in the morning.
Yep. We need to find our tools. The fact that you're acknowledging it is the first step, so which is very nice. Great. Yes, Ashutoshi.
Yeah, there is, I think some people are saying the app is called TuneIn Radio.
Okay, TuneIn Radio, then here you go. Check it out with that. Maybe I installed it long back, so I'm obsolete in my knowledge at this point.
And there is a question from Urviji. Can I read that out?
Yes, please go ahead. It'll be a tough question, I know for a fact.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I wanted to ask that we become God realized when we get Swarup Shakti or when we get Prem Dan. Is it that we become God realized after Swarup Shakti Dan and then we are given Prem? I got a bit confused.
So I can, technicality wise, I can check it out. Swarupa Shakti Yukta we become. Okay, we are still under the sway of Swarupa Shakti. It's only the Swansh part of God that I'm going to talk about when we get into the Guru discussion. They are the governors of Swarupa Shakti. For Vibhinansh, Jivatmas like us, we become, on God realization, we become Swarupa Shakti Yukt. And my understanding is, once you become Swarupa Shakti Yukt, then only you can digest divine love. Otherwise, we will disintegrate. So that upgrade that we are talking about, right? With this material body, if Guruji gives us a drop of divine love, right? We will disintegrate. We cannot take that. We have that thermostat of on both the direction. We cannot take pain beyond a point and we cannot take bliss beyond a point. In either cases, we'll collapse. So my understanding is, but I can clarify it. That is my little understanding, but I can certainly clarify. My understanding is once you get Swarupa Shakti of God, once you become Swarupa Shakti Yuk, then we have the ability to digest divine love, which is so powerful, which can be really intoxicating. So probably that enables us to take on that divine love. But I can clarify that. Good question. We hope that answered a little bit at least.
Yeah. And Asha ji has given one comment about her experience for the retreat, that I attended the Maryland retreat and I have no words for the incredible blissful experience of the divine atmosphere to be with Swamiji and his great grace.
Wonderful, Asha ji. See, you always have good words and big words. So if you don't have any words, participants can understand how amazing that experience would have been. So thank you for sharing that, Asha ji. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Asha ji, and thank you, Ashutosh ji, for waiting.
Koti koti pranam to you, Asha ji. Yes, Ashutosh ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe, Ashutosh ji.
Radhe Radhe. With the app is TuneIn Radio. In that you have to search for JK Yoga Radio. You will get that. So
okay, TuneIn Radio. Here you go, Kumar ji.
It is on website also. If they are on JK Yoga also, it is website also. Their radio.
So Ashutosh ji, why don't you send that information on the CIC group as well? I said I'll confuse people. I think you have it. Then please do share it. And it's TuneIn Radio, and within that you need to find that. That's great. It's a good tool actually. Nice company you can keep throughout the day. That much I can tell you. Okay. Thank you, Ashutosh. Is there any question also you had, or you wanted to sing something today?
Yes. And we are talking about Kam Krodh, how to sublimate those thoughts. So I remember 2 lines from Bhakti Sadak Maharaj ji said.
Yes, please go ahead.
काम क्रोध मद लोभ कहाँ मत इनको तू छोड़ राधे राधे रसिक शिरोमणि श्याम ढिंग दे इनको मुख मोड़ राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे. So Maharaj, yes, go ahead, Nitin.
No, go ahead, Ashutosh. I don't want to stay.
No, Maharaj said, since we are in materialist, means we will not be able to completely sublimate those thoughts. So we have to turn those thoughts to Krishna ji, like that.
Beautiful, very nice. I think we should probably import you here in Dallas. You will make a great satsang company here, especially during our Kirtan times. Great. Very nice to hear you, Ashutosh ji. Always beautiful. Yes. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure hearing you. Yes, Pallavi.
Pallavi ji, yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sandhya ji. I'll be very short and sweet here. I just wanted to mention about Ashutosh ji. I'm so much inspired to see his spiritual progress in such a small time. I think he has really come long way. So kudos to him. Thank you.
Great, very true. And the way he recites things and the way he is picked up in a short span of time, you just have to hear him to understand that. So very nice, Ashutosh ji. Way to go. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you on these sessions. Love to hear you more often. I know you are a quiet listener, but I'm sure you have a lot to share and a lot to sing as well. So please do come forward from time to time. Okay, anybody has any other comments, remarks, or we are good for the day? Please do fill out the feedback tracker if you have not already. And tomorrow we're going to have another interesting discussion. We can have one participant recite. I've gotten a feedback when multiple do that, we get lost. So maybe one participant a day who can do the closing prayers. That keeps it simple and easy.
Surinder ji.
Surinder ji, you have topped in recitation and in the closing prayers as well. So you're very quick in raising hand today, so which is very nice.
So yeah, so for today we'll have Surinder ji, Payal ji, maybe tomorrow you can do the closing prayers.
You have to beat Surinder ji in terms of prompt. He was extremely prompt today, but let's see who unmutes themselves first. I think that could be another competition, right?
We will have to unmute them now.
We'll have to. Okay. So Surinder ji raised, so let's unmute him first. And yes, Surinder ji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Radhe Radhe.
Om Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Surinder ji. Happy journey to Palampur, and do text me so that I can give you.
How can I text you? I don't have your number.
That is a good problem to have. So why don't you fill in the feedback tracker? Send me your number. I can text you back.
I have given my WhatsApp number on this chat to you.
Okay, hold on. Somebody has to give it to me then, because I was struggling to find your number even before. So you can go and say hello to my mom and dad, but make sure they open the door. If they don't, you can bang the door.
No, I do wish I can see them.
Okay, sure. Okay, I think my mom is already on she's already gotten a heads up. So what's your number? Give me a sec. I want to take a quick screenshot before we have you.
881020.
Hold on. You will have a lot of fan following if you do that.
No, I don't have. I'm not that capability.
How do I get it? Can you text me in the chat, or we'll note it down? That's okay. Can you give me? It's okay. I think people
directly to you.
Okay. Can you please give me the number? Announce it publicly today.
881020. I don't mind.
88
1020
9798. Okay, sure, Surinder ji. All right, happy journey. Stay safe.
So nice. Thank you very much.
Okay, Radhe Radhe then.
Radhe Radhe, Prabhu.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Great rest of your evening. Talk to you.
Same to you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.